How about Sam Darnold just dealing for the Minnesota Vikings? 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson, who ended up leaving the game with a quad injury. The Vikings say it shouldn't be anything too serious, but they get it done against the San Francisco 49ers. The Minnesota Vikings are now 2-0 on the year. They're the leaders in the NFC North. And Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, spoke about his starting quarterback after the game yesterday.
Sam Darnold against his former team, just the amount of work that goes into that position on your quarterback journey when everybody decides that you cannot play. We always believed in him, and felt awesome to watch him go do that thing. So I'm really proud of Sam Darnold.
Was he emotional there?
Yeah, because he can relate, right? Like, he was a former quarterback. He was a guy who a lot of people told him he couldn't do it. And unfortunately for most quarterbacks, that's how your career ends. You know, it goes to a point where everyone's like, you're the man, you're the man, you're the man, you're the man, you can't do it. And it's tough when that's your reality as a player and it comes to an end. And so for Kevin O'Connell, he's been able to relive it or find that next passion in coaching. You know, even when he was playing, people always talked about how he's going to be a great coach one day. And he has been. He's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. He's a great coach, and I think it's played out so far in his young tenure or short tenure there in Minnesota. But I think he's living through Sam Darnold, because not only can he relate to it personally, but he's also seen, and just being around Sam Darnold, as much time as you spend with your coach, especially the guy who's calling the plays, you understand kind of what makes them tick, their motivations, who they are, and their experience. And Darnold was, drafted and born into a bad organization, a bad situation. He bounced around from, whether it was Carolina, which, again, tough spot to go to get, trade to with those expectations. And then out in San Francisco, great spot, just never really got the opportunity. And so to finally have a shot in Minnesota, even after they drafted the guy who's supposed to be the starter, he goes out there and plays awesome. And he's played fantastic the past 2 weeks. So I'm happy for him personally. Like, I'm living vicariously through him too, to a degree, because there's some common denominators there. And it's like, it's always what you'd kind of hope for, because, no one's trying to say that Sam Darnold is going to be, the equivalent to some of the top guys in the league as far as talent ability wise, but he's not as far off as most people think. And the reality is, he's a good situation away. A team with a number one wide receiver on it, a team with a great play caller like Kevin O'Connell and an offensive line that protects him well and runs well, to give him a shot to showcase what he's capable of. And he's getting that opportunity now. So it's awesome to see it. Congrats to him. Congrats to the Vikings. But that was a huge win for them this past week.
Sam Darnold. I think everybody talks about I use everybody. I think I've heard us discuss how talented Sam Darnold can be, arm talent-wise, and as Q has mentioned so well, in terms of when you take a guy that has that type of talent but finds himself in some bad situations, that a lot of times that you never really get to see how talented a guy can be at the pro level. And looking at where, he's played and what he's had to go through and what he's endured from what he did when he was in school, it's a drastic difference, a vast change in success. And you always wonder at what point is too late. I mean, we're looking at what Geno Smith had, a resurgence in his career. I would not be surprised if this were an opportunity for Darnold to resurrect his career. I would not be, because it is a talented team. And it's a team that's been, personnel-wise, they've been ready to win. They have been ready to win. And this is a team that has a defense. They have a defense coordinator who knows how to dial up defenses and call defenses, as I highlighted earlier in the show. I just think that this is one of those deals where you could be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but be the right person. Or you could be the right person that ends up being at the right place at the right time. And because I don't believe in there being a wrong person. I always believe you're the right person until you're the wrong person. But I really believe that Sam Darnold has been the right type of person that has just been in the wrong places at the wrong time. This could be the one time where he actually ends up in the right place at the right time, and it could help him out with his career.
That's why the Baker Mayfield situation in Tampa is fun to watch.
That's a good one, too. It's a good pull.
Like, that's a guy who bounced around. He had, was obviously in Cleveland, was in Carolina with Sam Darnold, won the job there, but then ended up with the Rams for a cup of coffee, and then ended up in Tampa Bay, taking over for, after Tom Brady left, had to battle out with Trask for the starting quarterback job, ended up winning it, and has never looked back. And it's just seeing those guys get an opportunity. That's why I hate the term bust when it gets thrown out there, because like Josh Rosen will be labeled as such, and he's in that same draft class as Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. But Josh Rosen was dealt a bag of crap in his career and never got this next chapter like a Sam Darnold has gotten, like a Baker Mayfield's gotten, like a Geno Smith has gotten. And it just goes to show you, like, hey, man, just like don't give up too soon, because there's still an opportunity. It's why I'm rooting for Bryce Young. I just don't know that opportunity is going to present itself in Carolina.
The problem is it's not that the player gives up. It's the rest of the league gives up on the player. Yeah. And that's the hard part is it ends like that for a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys who are scouts. There's a lot of guys who are coaches who get into it because that's the ending of their career. 99% of players, they don't have the storybook ending the way they would like. It's just not. Like, the end of their career doesn't end the exact perfect way they'd like to. John Elway's one of the select fews where you win a Super Bowl, everyone thought he was going to retire, and that's it, sail off in the sunset, comes back. And they do it again. They win back-to-back Super Bowls. Then he's like, all right, now I'm good. Now I'm done. And it didn't happen like that for Peyton, really, necessarily. I mean, I think if you look at the way his last season went, I don't know if it was exactly how he imagined it. For Tom Brady, it wasn't exactly how I'm sure he imagined his career ending, whether it was staying in New England and trying to win him, or even, his last year in Tampa, not being able to win one. But that's the game, man. I mean, that's how it works. It doesn't end exactly how we'd all like, but at the end of the day, you just try to find, hopefully, the right situation, circumstance to allow you to excel. And the truth of the matter is, it's not that different from everyone else out there who's trying to find that in whatever profession you're in. Like, I think you all know when you're a part of a bad company or a bad organization, you know it. You're like, I can't wait to get out of here. Or this is a sinking ship. You can feel it. I mean, I've had enough jobs in my life before, even like when I was young, to be able to say like, oh, this place like has their stuff together. This place doesn't. I mean, it's easy to see how those sorts of things operate. And when you see stuff in the news, for example, about various companies, it's kind of a telltale sign oftentimes of where things are going. It's no different than sports with organizations. The ones that tend to pop up and have the most drama and all that, they tend to be the ones that aren't the most successful. I mean, I look at the Jets, for example. They get a win this week. But to LaVar's point, where he's harped on their organization forever now, I kind of sit there and watch and go, yeah, like maybe they'll build this be something at the end of the season at some point. But it does feel like there's just always something there.
Something there.
There's always something that works against them. And it's usually top down. It's ownership down. And you can feel that. So I don't know. I always, every time I always like, go to a small business or a small store or something, you meet the owner, you get a sense of how that place is going to operate.
Yep.
Because you get a feel for how they conduct themselves, how they handle themselves, how the rest of the employees conduct themselves and handle themselves. And you go, okay, like this is going to be successful. This isn't. You hope as a player you hope as an employee you find that right situation and circumstance. And again, good for Sam Darnold to end up in this spot. Now, some of it's luck, right? We didn't know J.J. McCarthy was going to get hurt. Otherwise, it might be J.J. McCarthy we're talking about as a rookie in his second game, playing like this. But that's often how you find your opportunity. It sometimes comes from luck or comes from an injury or unluckiness of someone else. And that equates then to Sam Darnold's shot.